Hi everyone, this is Dr. Chhoda and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. I hope you folks are all doing well. Thank you so much for being a viewer. Thank you so much for being a subscriber. We have received new information about what is going to be the exact amount of the stimulus checks and whether this is going to have an impact on unemployment benefits. I'm going to jump into the news right now for you. Once again, my name is Dr. Chhoda with Ignition Time. Thank you so much for being a viewer. Thank you so much for being a subscriber. I want you to know that you are greatly appreciated. I'm going to pull up the information right now and give it to you guys directly. And here we are. So once again, thank you so much for being here. Let's just jump right in. The news that we are receiving is that this is going to be a $900 billion package, and the stimulus checks are going to be likely $600 to $700. That is going to be the likely amount of the stimulus checks in this imminent announcement. My viewers, my subscribers, my beloved community at Ignition Time, the information that we have received is the amount of the stimulus checks is going to be $600 to $700, and this is expected to shrink the duration of unemployment benefits by as much as 1 month. Okay. One more time, we are expected to see stimulus checks that are approximately $600 to $700. Okay. And is PUA included? Yes, all the unemployment benefit programs have been extended in the new stimulus bill. I did do another video yesterday where I talked about the big unemployment changes in the new stimulus bill. Please subscribe to our channel and please go check out that video. So here's the bottom line. The stimulus checks are likely to be $600 to $700. That is point number one. Point number two, this is expected to shrink the duration of unemployment benefits, which was originally supposed to be a 4-month extension with $300 booster on top of the state unemployment benefits. It was supposed to be 4 months. It is expected that that's going to come down as much as 1 month. Now, this is the latest reporting that we are getting. An announcement is imminent, and as soon as an announcement comes out, you'll be sure to hear about that on our channel. So that is number one. Number two, let me emphasize once again, unemployment weekly boost of $300 per week, stimulus check of $600 to $700. Original negotiations for unemployment benefits before stimulus checks were part of this plan was at 4 months extension. And by the way, when I get a lot of questions about the retroactive part of it, this is going to be from the end of December through to the end of April. The exact dates will be announced shortly, and I'll be sure to give you the exact dates. But unfortunately, because the $600 a week federal booster expired in the end of July, and then August, September, October, November, there's no retroactive. The Lost Wages Assistance Program, which by the way only lasted for 5 weeks. A lot of us weren't even eligible for that. You know, I've covered that extensively on our channel. When we say retroactive, it's going to be from the end of December through the end of April. That was the original plan. But now that $600 a week stimulus checks are included, it is expected that that's going to be cut short from 4 months to 3 months. That is the news that's emerging. And there's going to be $325 billion approximately for small businesses. And $257 billion is going to be set aside for the Paycheck Protection Program. So the Paycheck Protection Program, when used properly, does help to retain jobs. Now keep in mind that Chuck Schumer, the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, and Republicans are still battling as we talk. They're still in aid for idle venues, entertainment venues, and restaurant funding. That's what they're doing. And they have this bill. This bill will not include state and local funding and liability protection. So that is the news, everybody. That is the latest news that we have. The leaders on the Hill, in both the Congress and the Senate. Keep in mind that yesterday there were several meetings for several hours. Between House Speaker Nancy Pelosi with the Democrats and Chuck Schumer, the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, and the Senate Majority Leader, that is Mitch McConnell, from the Republican side, and the House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. They met for hours yesterday. They're closing in on the deal. They have left out the two most contentious aspects of the negotiations, which was the state and local funding, and they also left out liability protection, because those were the areas that they continued to argue about. The price tag of this emerging deal is right around $900 billion, and a deal could be finalized today. The deal could be finalized today. Senate Majority Whip John Thune, who's a Republican from South Dakota, said the proposal would likely include direct checks to individuals, meaning stimulus checks, of $600 to $700 and a weekly boost of $300 a week through March. Okay? So, is the $300 a week unemployment benefit booster going to last for 4 months? At this moment in time, at the time I'm recording this video, it looks like the 4 months has gone down to 3 months. Okay, and $600 to $700 direct stimulus checks are included, which would mean a 3-month booster of $300 per week on top of state unemployment benefits and $600 to $700 stimulus checks. That's what it's looking like right now. The Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell today did sound extremely upbeat about the progress that the 4 congressional leaders had made over the past 24 hours. The Senate Majority Leader said, and I'm quoting him on the floor of the Senate today, "We made major headway for hammering out a targeted relief package." And if you know anything about Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, he chooses his words very carefully. He said he believed that the compromise was imminent, and he said that it could pass both the House and the Senate today. Now, let me be clear. They should have done more, and they should have done it sooner. And this is what they've come. It's interesting that they come to an agreement 24 hours before a deadline to fund the government. Think about that for a second. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer also said negotiators are close to an agreement. He also said that his party would push for a larger deal next year when President-elect Joe Biden becomes president. This is important. The Chuck Schumer, the Senate Minority Leader, said that his party, the Democrats, would push for a much larger deal next year when President-elect Joe Biden becomes the president. And I'm quoting Chuck Schumer right now. You guys ready? This is important. This is important. This is what Chuck Schumer said. This is important. By the way, if both the Senate seats in Georgia, if both the Senate seats in Georgia go to the Democrats, guess who's going to be the Senate Majority Leader? Can you guess? Not Mitch McConnell. Because at that point, it'll be 50 seats for the Republicans, 50 seats for the Democrats with the tiebreaker vote cast by Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. At that point in time, Mitch McConnell would not be the Senate Majority Leader. It's safe to assume that the Senate Majority Leader at that moment in time would be Chuck Schumer. So what Chuck Schumer says is important. Whether you guys, I know a lot of us don't like these politicians, but this is what Chuck Schumer said. The words are important. It's not a done deal yet, but we are very close. For Democrats, this has always been about getting the American people the relief they need. I told you that they would start to take credit, guys. Schumer described the urgency of the situation, and he talked about the current emergency situation after nearly 8 months with new stimulus. And he said, we Democrats would have liked to go considerably further. Now, keep in mind the direct checks are, far less than the $1,200 per person that were sent out as part of the CARES Act. And, the $600 a week federal booster is also something that's not going to be matched. President Trump is pushing to send out direct checks to Americans, to our fellow Americans. And again, I've mentioned this earlier, Bernie Sanders, the independent from Vermont, and Josh Hawley, the Republican from Missouri, they pushed hard. In fact, Josh Hawley went so far 2 weeks ago, about 10 days ago actually, when the president was flying back on Air Force One from a rally in Georgia. Josh Hawley told the President Trump, to veto a spending bill, to veto a stimulus package if it did not include stimulus checks. So it sounds like some of the focus that Josh Hawley and Bernie Sanders, and there were others also. By the way, keep in mind, Mitt Romney, the senator from Utah, did 24 hours ago, actually more than 24 hours ago, push for stimulus checks instead of state and local aid, and he was rejected. But guess what? Apparently they decided that yes, let's do that. So things change very quickly in Washington, D.C. The Congressional Progressive Caucus has also demanded direct payment to individuals, and that was reported yesterday as well by various sources. Let's see if a lot of the liberals like Bernie Sanders will be okay with this amount. But this is we've come a long way in the past 2 or 3 days, which is surprising because these people were haggling for months, and it's also not surprising because this is 48 hours before a deadline to fund the government. Okay, in my opinion, this is my opinion, I think that the American people deserved more. The American people deserved a solution earlier. You see, the thing is, I mean, this is not politically correct, but this is almost, look guys, again, this is not going to be politically correct, but this is almost like hush money. You know, just take the money and be quiet and just be happy. For some of us, this money, the $600 stimulus checks and the $300 a week federal booster is going to be life-saving. And I get that. For others, it's not going to be enough. But, you know, I think the government should have done more and should have come up with a solution sooner. So, and keep in mind that the proposal would include $325 billion in small business relief, which includes $257 billion for the Paycheck Protection Program. And the Paycheck Protection Program helps keep employers on payroll, which is the Paycheck Protection Program, when used correctly, is a good program. Yes, there were big companies that got the money and they shouldn't have. And, you know, guys, no system is perfect. Every system, every program, especially when it is have bad actors, it's going to have loopholes, it's going to have problems that are addressed after the fact. So, the Paycheck Protection Program, I know for a fact, has saved many jobs, and when used as intended, it is a good program. So, but yes, there are bad actors. I mean, there are always going to be bad actors, and I personally think, I own multiple businesses, and I've learned two things in business. One is that a business is only as strong as its weakest links. Again, a business is only as strong as its weakest links. In business, if you do 98 things well, but you do 2 things badly, it doesn't matter what you did well. It matters, those 2 things that you did badly matter, so you need to improve on those. I think the way we can sort of apply that to this situation is, a lot of good things happened as a result of the CARES Act. The $1,200 stimulus checks were good. The $600 a week unemployment booster was good. The Paycheck Protection Program was good. But guess what happened as a result of that? There were unintended consequences. There were side effects. And those side effects included people getting Paycheck Protection Programs when they did not need the money, people getting Paycheck Protection Programs and still letting people go, people getting $1,200 stimulus checks when they didn't need them, people getting the $600 a week federal booster and then not being incentivized to go back to work. Those were the side effects of the situation. But no situation is perfect. And so the one thing, like I said, I've learned in business is a business is only as strong as its weakest link. Similarly, as a country, I think that we are only as strong as our weakest links. And the weak link here was the problems that happened with the CARES Act. But now they're trying to address that in a more targeted way. Is it a perfect solution? No. But guess what? Nothing is perfect. Let us not, and this is not my quote, this is a quote from one of the congressional leaders. In fact, I believe it's a quote from Mitch McConnell, so I want to give credit where it's due. Let not perfect be the enemy of the good. The idea is progress, not perfection. We don't live in a perfect world. That's number one. Number two, I think honestly, and I'm talking about a business analogy here. I own multiple businesses. I own multiple software companies. If you don't know anything about me, check out my video. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. In business, if you tolerate someone who is a B player or a C player, the A players stop performing because they're like, oh, why do I need to work because, substandard performance is being accepted. I personally think our elected officials, senators and congressmen, there are some A players. I will let you decide who the A players are. I've released a lot of information, a lot of content on my channel, and there are B players and C players. I think we should not tolerate senators and congressmen or congresswomen who don't put the needs of the people first and who essentially prioritize politics over people. If you've been watching my channel and if you've been keeping up with what's been happening in the country, you know who the A players are, who the B and C players are. So I think we need to make our voice heard, pick up the phone, call them and let them know, how could you do this to us? So I think that is another thing we need to keep in mind. Chuck Schumer is pushing for as much as $17 billion for a Save Our Stages provision to help idle venues, entertainment venues. Republicans and some Democrats have been concerned that it will come at the expense of money to help restaurants that have been devastated by the pandemic. But Democrats said Schumer wants to help both restaurants as well as entertainment venues. So a lot of interesting things happening here. This deal would also include a good amount of money for vaccine distribution, education, transportation, and healthcare. And lawmakers, by the way, once the lawmakers vote on this in the House and the Senate, they're gone for Christmas break. So they want to make this their big pre-Christmas hurrah, if you will. Whether you agree with it or not, that's for you to decide. And here's a comment from John Thune, the important Republican. Some of our folks who typically might in circumstances like this want to slow things down are, I don't think, inclined to do that. I'll repeat what John Thune said. Some of our folks who typically might in circumstances like this want to slow things down are, I don't think, inclined to do that. That's a fancy way of saying, my Republicans want to get stuff done. It's just a fancy way of saying that. And he said it would still be possible for the House and the Senate to pass this massive package before the Friday deadline, which, by the way, is in 48 hours. Let's see, what's the date today? Guys, I've been working non-stop. Yeah, that's 48 hours. Before the Friday deadline, today is Wednesday. And he said it is possible to pass this before the Friday deadline and not necessitate another stopgap funding bill. In other words, by Friday, these lawmakers want to A, pass the huge omnibus spending package, which is a $1.4 trillion package. How many senators and congressmen, congresswomen have you heard say, by the way, we're passing $1.4 trillion? Nobody, because $1.4 trillion is much more than $900 billion. Facts. So anyway, the negotiations are moving rapidly, and they do think that by the end of the day Friday, they will pass both the omnibus spending bill, which will continue to fund the government until September 2021. And this would be $1.4 trillion, and they'll include the $900 billion stimulus, which at this moment in time is supposed to include $600 to $700 stimulus checks and $300 per week federal booster, which was originally supposed to last 4 months, but is now going to last 3 months. By the way, guys, I don't know if you realize this. I do a lot of my videos in one take. There are no edits to what you are watching right now. It's just boom, straight edits. So if you appreciate the effort, all I ask is please click like, please subscribe, please ignite that subscribe button, please ignite that notification button, because the name of our channel is Ignition Time. If you want to, if you do that, it helps the YouTube algorithm. And please share this video. Just share this video with 2 friends and family members, please. Just 2 friends and family members. As far as retroactive pay is concerned, everyone asks about retroactive pay. As far as retroactive pay is concerned, this is going to include $300 a week from the end of December through to the end of March. Nothing retroactive beyond that or earlier than that. The Democrats pushed for that, but the Republican senators weren't buying it. There was no room to provide sort of more retroactive benefits and stimulus checks in this bill. Did they wait too long? Yes. Is it a little too late? Well, that's for you to decide. Like I said, the negotiations moved rapidly. The 4 congressional leaders, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer from the Democrat side, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, and the House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy on the Republican side did indeed meet. They met late into the night last night with Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin joining on the phone. And this would be, like I said, a year-long $1.4 trillion funding bill. And House Speaker Pelosi wants a vote by the end of the week in the House. And the Senate Majority Leader also seems to be on board. The 2 most contentious items, state and funding for state and local governments and a liability shield, have been left out. Remember, one was a priority for the Democrats and the other for the Republicans. And Mitch McConnell had suggested dropping both so that there could be a framework for an agreement. Now, the emerging compromise does not include money for state and local, but it seems like the Democrats are pushing to try and include some money for state and local in there. And Republicans have vowed to have said that they will fight for a liability shield, and Democrats have said they'll fight for more state and local aid next year when President-elect Biden is sworn in as president. And I think there'll be a new focus next year. So that is what is going on, everybody. Also, this news just came in. News from Bernie Sanders, everybody. Are you guys ready for what Bernie Sanders just said? You ready? Bernie Sanders just said, this is a good start. He called it a good start. You're welcome, Michael. Bernie Sanders calls it a good start. And Josh Hawley from Missouri said he wants $1,200. He's not going to be happy with $600 to $700. So I remember I talked about good actors. I remember I talked about A players and B players. You decide who are the A players. Guys, I know that this has shaken our confidence in government. I get it. And you're right. It's not your fault. You're right. But, not everybody is bad. So don't let us not let our skepticism and our anger and our frustration hide the fact that there are good actors out there. There are. Now you decide who the good ones are. Hopefully you think I'm one of the good ones. but Bernie Sanders said it's a good start, and Josh Hawley said he wants $1,200 stimulus checks, but nobody is supporting them right now other than these two. They are the lone warriors, and they are trying to hold things up. But I don't think they'll be, at this moment in time, it doesn't look like they'll be able to push that through and force a shutdown, because there seems to be more and more consensus about let's include $600 to $700 stimulus checks, let's include $300 a week for 3 months, and let's just pass this in the House and the Senate, go home for Christmas, let the president sign it. By the way, if this gets passed by the House and the Senate, and if the president signs it by the end of the day on Friday, this becomes law. Here's something else that's interesting. President-elect Joe Biden chimed in on this situation. You guys want to hear what he said? Yeah? Do you want to hear what President-elect Joe Biden said? President-elect Joe Biden, the stimulus check is $600 to $700. Okay? I did cover that on our video. By the way, if you have questions, go back and watch this video from the start, because I've addressed many things, and watch the past few videos on our channel, okay? President-elect Joe Biden just said this: the stimulus package is encouraging, and he called it a down payment. President-elect Joe Biden said, and I'm quoting, the stimulus package is encouraging, and he called it a down payment on what still needs to be done. President-elect Joe Biden said the stimulus package is encouraging and called it a down payment on what still needs to be done, and he complimented the bipartisan group for leading the talks. Josh Gottheimer, Democrat from New Jersey, Tom Reed, Republican from New York, and many other important members of the bipartisan Problem Solvers Caucus, which then led to the bipartisan Senate group, which then pushed forward this proposal. So I've actually mentioned who I think are the A players in this video, and my advice to you, guys, and I've mentioned this before on my channel, this is important. If there's one thing this experience has taught us, it's not to depend on government. It's not to be dependent on anybody. I will teach you how to be financially independent. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. I have the fortune, the honor, the privilege of living the American dream. I'm going to be honest here. I'm going to put my heart on my sleeve. I know what it means to be hungry. I've been homeless, and I have suffered and I have struggled a lot. And you guys don't see this on camera, but I lie awake at night worrying about you guys, worrying about our community. I do. I try not to show that on camera, because you guys are here for the news, and I want to be respectful of your time, and I want to give you the bottom line. But I believe in this, I call it the stimulus end game. Well, for now, because I think there'll be more stimulus next year. I believe in this stimulus end game, there are going to be 3 types of outcomes. There are 3 types of individuals. One, those who desperately need the stimulus, and this money is a godsend to them, and I'm always with you. I will move mountains for you, my subscribers. I will move mountains for you. Number 2, people who didn't really need the money but who kind of get it anyway. And number 3, people who look at this and say, wait a minute, I will never, ever find myself in this situation again. I will never to be in this situation again. And those are the kinds of individuals who will transform their lives. My goal with the Ignition Time channel is to create a life-changing impact, life-changing transformational impact for my subscribers. Now, am I going to be able to do that for every subscriber? No, because like I mentioned, there are 3 types of individuals. Number 1, individuals who desperately need this money, and help is coming. So that's a good thing. Number 2, individuals who are like, okay, I'll take the money, and then life will go on, and then they'll, sort of things stay the same. Number three, individuals who look at this and say, I will learn how to start a business. I will learn how to make more money. I will learn how to save. I will learn how to invest, whether it's real estate. Oh, by the way, just to go off on a tangent, I will be teaching investing on our channel. I'll be teaching how you can grow money, how you can make more money. I will never teach how you can double your money in a week or 2 weeks, or how you can buy a $10 stock and make it $50. I don't live in a fairy tale, and I suggest you don't live in a fairy tale either. All the strategies I teach on my channel for investing are going to be boring, are going to be long term, and are going to be designed to make you 15% to 20% a year over 20 or 30 years. That's how you build wealth. In fact, if you, I've done a video on my channel talking about compound interest. If you can take right around, I would say, $10,000 or $20,000, and if you can compound it over 15 or 20 years, you will have millions of dollars. So that is what you learn on our channel. I will move mountains for you, but I do want you to know that this stimulus money, I believe this is for those of you who are dependent on this. I want you to take this. I want you to, let's make our way past this, and then I promise you, this is the first day in the rest of your life, and I will guide you, I will move mountains for you, and I will lead you forward. But no shortcuts, guys. We're in this for the long haul. I'm 42 years old. I came to the United States with nothing. I have the fortune, the honor, the privilege of living the American dream. I want to help you live your American dream. So that's it, everybody. This is where things stand right now. We are slowly heading towards what I call the stimulus end game. But again, this is the first day of the rest of your lives, which means that after this stimulus money, you need to be able to understand how to make more money, how to save, how to invest, which is what I'll teach you on this channel. This is not a stimulus updates channel. This is a channel designed to help you understand the country, help you understand the economy, and then maximize your money. I am here to tell you the system is rigged. This is a rigged system. You've got two choices. You can either complain about it, or you can understand the way the system works, because our country is a capitalist country. It's a pro-business economy. You can either complain non-stop about the system, or you can understand the system, you can recover from this situation, and you can work the system to become successful, which is what I did. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate you. I will always move mountains for you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. The stimulus money will also be for dependents. There will be stimulus checks for dependents as well. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you. Take care. Bye.